I want to talk about your journey. I want to talk about what you've been through, your process, and like Jacob said, you went to the Air Force. Tell us about that. Tell us about the recruiting of the Air Force, because that's different. You have to get people to write you letters, like congressmen and things like that. Can you talk about that for people that might be interested in possibly going to an academy?
Yeah. First thing I'll say about an academy, any of them, is I highly recommend it. It was the best thing I could have done, best thing that was for me for my personal development, leadership development, baseball development even. It was the best thing that could have happened to me for those 2 years. When I was in high school, really the only thing I wanted to do was go to the Air Force Academy. It was either Air Force or Navy, but obviously chose Air Force. Really, only thing I wanted to do was serve, and baseball was kind of just a secondary thought. Play as long as I can, go play in college, but have a good job, serve, fly $100 million aircraft. It's a pretty cool gig. But that's what I wanted to do. And for the recruiting piece of it, I actually reached out to Air Force, went to a camp after my freshman year. And to be honest, I like I said, it was either there or Navy. Originally, I wanted to go to Navy because I have two uncles who went to the Naval Academy. And I went to the camp at Air Force after my freshman year, and I was just hooked. You couldn't talk me out of it from that point on. Just the people, the place, the opportunities there, everything just, really clicked with me. So that's what I wanted to do, from that point on in high school. And super glad that I went there because it gave me opportunities that, I couldn't have had anywhere else.
When you're at the Air Force, you're not only managing baseball in school, but you're doing all your combat stuff. You're doing everything else on the side. So what kind of advice do you have for people that are always saying, oh, I'm tired, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that, but you're over here getting your work in every single day on top of 3-4 other things that are going on in your life?
Yeah, at some point, everywhere, you're going to have to learn, that there are going to be things that suck in life, and the things at Air Force that suck are a little different than the things at LSU that suck. I still have the same thoughts now, of the day-to-day. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. It's just different things that I don't want to do now. At Air Force, you have so much on your plate, you can't get caught up in yourself. You can't get caught up in complaining and moping and doing stuff like that, because you're just going to fall behind. Nice thing is the people around you are just top notch at the Air Force Academy, and if you surround yourself with great people, then you can kind of alleviate some of those thoughts, which I think I've done here at LSU as well, even though it's a little bit different. But yeah, I think just learning to, they call it like embrace the suck, whatever you want to call it. Embrace the suck is a really cliche military term in my opinion, but if you learn to do that, it's going to suit you well in life, no matter where you are.
You bring up a great point. Embrace the suck, or just embrace what you're doing right every day, and understand that it's just stuff you have to get done. Some players on the East Coast, you got to wake up early. It's snowing. You got to get in the gym. You got to do your lifts. You got to get your at-bats, things like that. On the West Coast, it's getting up early and, staying in shape and seeing 90, 92 every day at the high school level. I thought you brought up some great points. Tell us a little bit about the exiting process of Air Force, right? If you stay for 3 years, you have to stay. And then you have to serve after, whether you get drafted or not. And so you left this year, and you're now able to play at LSU, move on to pro baseball, which I'm sure that's what's going to happen. The reality of that probably in the first round. Talk about that, and talk about the understanding of you're getting into something and you have to compete.
Yeah, at some point last year, it kind of clicked that I could, play pro baseball and hopefully play for a long time. And I don't think my priorities shifted at that point. I still wanted to serve, and to some extent, I still want to serve. But you only get one shot at baseball. You get as many shots as you want, really, at serving. And so at some point last year, I realized that I had to leave in order to pursue this dream. And And so pretty much right after the region, right after we lost in the regional, I entered the transfer portal, and then I had to start on my out processing stuff immediately, which probably took a month. It's just a bunch of paperwork, turning in uniforms, like a bunch of, administrative BS pretty much that just stands in the way of you, being in the military and not being in the military. And so that's what my summer looked like. And on top of that, it was visiting other schools and preparing for USA. So it was a really busy process. And at the same time, I'm trying to say goodbye to my best friend. So it was a tough process. I think looking back at it, I think I handled it as well as I could have, but it was long, it was tough, and really it was like a long process, kind of condensed into 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, no, I believe it, because the government doesn't want to let you go. They're those schools are free. The academy schools are free for those that don't know. If you get into the academy, taxpayer dollars pay for that. It's not the parents. No one has to pay for that. Talk about the transfer portal. How quickly did schools reach out to you? Because I know if you get into that transfer portal before May 1st, and it's the wild, wild west, according to a lot of coaches and a lot of players.
Yeah, when I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I got into the transfer portal, like you enter the portal, and it takes a couple hours to process and all that. I got the email that I entered the portal, and literally within 30 seconds, I got a text from a coach. And my transfer portal process was tough because I entered the portal, and a lot of people, they know they want to go to the SEC, they know they want to stay on the West Coast, whatever. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and so I used the transfer portal to talk to as many coaches as I could, and get a feel for different programs around the country. I took 6 visits, so I took one visit, on my own dime. Like it was a little bit more, I think, of a bigger process than a lot of other people that I know went through when they were in the portal. But to be honest, everyone that I interacted in the portal with was a class act. Like, they did things the right way. It's not like they're throwing money at you in the portal, which I didn't know what to expect with that kind of thing. But eventually I figured out what I wanted to do and settled on LSU, obviously. But it was a long, long process.
And why did you choose LSU out of all the other schools that were reaching out to you?
I had watched a lot of their games last year. I'd watched a lot of games in general. Played at Alex Box my freshman year. I saw the environment. But Coach Johnson and Coach West being at the same school, obviously trying to develop as a two-way, it was too good of an opportunity to pass up. I think Coach Johnson has 27 big leaguers or something like that right now that he's worked with and that he's coached in the past. Unbelievable. And then Coach West obviously came from the big leagues, has this giant laundry list, I feel like, of pitchers that he's developed and are pitching in the big leagues now from when he was coaching in college. It was too good of an opportunity to pass up.
LSU is an amazing program. Obviously, national championships that are sitting behind you. I would. Why not LSU? I'm there. If LSU called me, I'd be there in a minute.